Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleanor and this is going to be my reading wrap up of October, November and December of 2021. I really wish I could have read more in these last couple of months of the year, but it just didn't happen for various reasons. I'm going to keep this video very brief because I'm putting a lot of videos out close together that I've been meaning to film and upload for a while. So there is going to be quite a bit of repetition, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet and just go through quickly what I read the last 3 months of the year, just to tie it all off. So the first book I read in October was The Sword of Light by Carolyn Logan. This is the third book in the Four Treasures series and I thoroughly enjoyed it. These characters are very much about a found family and it's a high fantasy young adult series set in a Scottish-esque landscape where there are lots of mystical and folktale-esque creatures and things going on. There's lots of magic and shape-shifting and fae in this series, and these characters go on really intense and wild adventures. I love their interconnected relationships, and I really enjoyed the angle that this book went in particular. My favourite character is Malik, and I'm so excited to see what happens with him, and yeah, this fourth and final book is going to be out at the end of 2022 and I cannot wait to find out what happens with these characters at the penultimate kind of battle, because there's always a battle against good and evil, but I thoroughly enjoy the characters and the landscape of this book. That wasn't brief at all. I will do better. The next book I read was a novella and it's A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is her newest kind of series, following on from finishing the Wayfarers series, and I'll be honest, I did struggle a little bit to get into the story. It was just very strange. So you're following this person in this world who changes path on what they are, and they decide to become a tea maker, and what they do is they have a little cart, they travel around the land and they provide a safe space for people to have a conversation. So they make tea and people sit about them and they tell them all their woes and their troubles and they feel lifted. It's kind of like counselling and therapy, but it's like a wee travelling cart, and this person makes a big deal about collecting different teas and being really specific and getting into what people need and want in that moment. So that in itself is very beautiful. But this character meets a robot, and this robot is on an adventure of their own and things go off from there. And I did overall enjoy the story. It just took me a little bit of a while to get into it, and I don't know if that's because I listened to this on an audiobook and maybe I should have physically read it to take my time more and absorb the story. But I'm looking forward to picking up more in this series. I think the series is called Monk and Robot, and yeah, seeing where Becky Chambers takes it. And the third and last book I read in October was Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I picked this book up secondhand and thought the premise was really intriguing. Again, another wacky science fiction dystopian book. There is a film. I haven't watched it yet. If you know me at all, you will not be surprised by that. I do intend to watch it at some point, but as is the way with things, an adaptation will be slightly different from the source material. This is a very weird book. If you actually want to know what's going on and you want straight hard facts, this is not the book for you. You don't have a clue what's going on this whole book. It's very trippy. You don't know what's real and what's not, what's a hallucination, what's not, what is possibly aliens and what is not, what is scientific kind of discovery and research and what's not. You have no clue what's going on, but I loved it. That doesn't sound like a great synopsis, does it? There's this mysterious Area X where different expedition groups have been going in to try and work out what's been going on, and they've all come back either dead, missing or changed. And this book, you follow the latest group to go in and weird things happen. This book, you're following 4 women, and it's the first time they've only sent 4 women into this Area X, and they're going into the unknown and trying to work out what is going on. I've read this first book and I am intrigued to continue on and find out what's going on with the rest of the series, but this was a wild one, and it's a very short book, but you have no idea what's going on the whole time. Now on to November. November will be a very quick one to go over because I only read 1 book and it was a reread, and it was Loonie by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I thoroughly enjoyed this series when I first read it a couple of years ago, and I knew I was struggling with reading and I thought it would be good to reread something that I really enjoyed. And again, young adult science fiction, but this is in a very different format. It's like voice notes and voice recordings and messages across spaceships, and text and dialogue. There's no actual prose in this book, and it works really well in this format. It's about this kind of illegal civilization living on this planet, doing like illegal mining, and they get attacked and they escape the planet, and it's about these couple of groups of spaceships trying to escape the attacking people. And yeah, and it's a wee sordid love romance. There's two people, Katie and Ezra, and they've just broken up and they're on separate spaceships, and it's about their relationship and communication with each other, and about a really nutty spaceship computer that does things it shouldn't. It's long, there's a lot of pages, it's like 600 pages, but it doesn't feel like it when you read it because of the format it's written in. I don't know at this time whether I'll continue my reread and read books 2 and 3, but I enjoyed reading book 1 again. And the last few books I read in December, and I made a big effort to finish these books because some of them I'd started a couple of months ago and I was determined not to carry them over into 2022, so I made a very concerted effort to finish these books off. But I'll be very brief because I have just published my individual reviews for these books right before you're watching this, so just go over them quickly. So I read The Day Watch and The Twilight Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko. I think I say his name differently every single time I say it. This is a Russian translated paranormal fantasy series set in Moscow in the late 90s, early 2000s. You're following creatures called Others who live hidden from the humans, and they're split into 2 fractions, the light and the dark, and they both have watches to kind of monitor the behaviour of the other. So the light ones have the night watch and the dark ones have the day watch to kind of keep everything in check and in balance. But there's lots of magic in here, and the setting of Moscow and Russian culture makes it a very interesting read, and I'm really loving reading translated books because it's such a different reading experience. I then read Wicked Souls by Katie Wismer, which is the second book in her Marionettes series, which was published at the very beginning of December, and I'd pre-ordered it and I got it a little bit early and I read it so quickly. I think this is the quickest I'd read a book in a few months, and I inhaled it basically. This is a paranormal fantasy romance series, new adult category. A lot of graphic depictions of violence and sexual situations, so be warned before going into it. But yes, it's vampires and magic and all in between, and it's a really fun series, and because the author is self-published, she can leave you off on a massive cliffhanger that maybe a normal publishing house would not let happen. So I'm very eagerly anticipating book 3, which will be published sometime in 2022, who knows when, and I'm biting my teeth waiting for it to arrive, whenever that may be. She did say it would be published near the end of 2022, but because she self-publishes, if she manages to write and edit it before then, it might come up sooner. So here's hoping. I also just really love the cover. Very well done. And the last book I read in 2021 was Things We Say in the Dark by Kirsty Logan, which is a short story collection all about women's fears about female bodies, domestic claustrophobia, desire and violence. Read it off the back because that's a bit easier. This is a very intense short story collection, but really well written. The author herself is Scottish, and I feel like you can tell through the book all these different hints at Scottish life, and yeah, again, it's just a really fantastic short story collection that was very gripping and very intense, kind of dark and mysterious at some points, and weird and quirky in others. But yes, very much talks about very serious topics, and it was excellent. There you have it. I think a lot of my light has vanished, so hopefully this part of the video isn't too dark now, but that was a very whirlwind run through of what I read in October, November and December of 2021. I will endeavour to be more prompt with my videos this coming 2022. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm hoping to be in a much more regular routine with my filming and uploading schedule. So I'm very sorry for the bombardment of videos you'll get quite close together, but that's just to kind of get 2021 content over with. There'll be a few more coming after this one. You've got all the usual suspect videos of favourite books and did I read everything that I bought and all that jazz. So they'll be coming soon. But yes, let me know if you've read any of these books. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye!